Hello to my Cappies, to my Capricorns. All right, Capricorns, we are in this last quarter moon phase, closing out the cycle. All right, so let's get you ready for the solar eclipse. It's a partial solar eclipse on a new moon, so we're still in eclipse season, right? We had a full moon in Virgo. It was a full blood moon in Virgo already, right? So lunar eclipse, we had a total lunar eclipse, and it's about totally letting go of some things that could have maybe triggered some childhood and ancestral traumas. Anything that was connected to that trigger some childhood and ancestral traumas. That could have been anything from, and I'm trying to keep it light so it doesn't trigger anything. Anything could have, anyway, I'm not going to give any examples. Anyway, not trying to trigger anybody. Anything that could have triggered something that could have happened to you today, not today as in when you watch the video, like modern day, whatever, that could have triggered a memory from childhood, ancestral something, that you just said, okay, I need to go ahead and close out a karmic cycle within myself, but of something I've been holding on to. I need to make peace with something. Maybe I was judging somebody based on something, but now I'm seeing something through an adult lens. I need to make peace with something so I can move on with my life. I've been holding on to something for a long time that I need to make peace with something, right? That could be one, because I was seeing it as a child one way, but now I'm an adult. I'm seeing things through a different lens, right? Maybe, let me just say, let me try to see if I can choose something light. Maybe when I was a kid, I thought, it was an inconvenience to see people walking slowly. Let's say something. Maybe people was walking too slowly, and that irritated me when I was a kid. They was walking too slowly, but now through an adult lens, maybe now I'm realizing that people are walking slowly because maybe it was something that was medically wrong, and I'm seeing it through an adult lens, that some people walk slowly because there's something else going on. Okay, something like that. So now I can resolve that within myself. Y'all can think of some other stuff. That would be a karmic cycle within yourself. You're seeing things through maybe you held on to something like that. Like, how you hear people say, that just really grinds my gears. Sometimes it could be you have a thought about marriage, or you have a thought about a particular group of people, or people, places, or things that now as an adult you're seeing it through an adult lens. Y'all get my point. You're seeing things in this year of 9 that, okay, that ended. 9 is a death rebirth number, so that's the end, so you can start this new beginning. We're in the year of 9. Sometimes it can even be like that in relationships with friends. Sometimes you are a friend, you remain friends with somebody who that they're still friends with somebody who don't like you, right? And so now this may be the year that you say, you know what, I'm gonna stop being friends who are still friends with people who don't like me. Like, what am I doing? What am I doing still remaining friends with people who are still friends with people who don't like me? Not only are they friends with people who are enemies of mine, who've proven to be enemies of mine, that's me being an enemy to myself. That's why I talk about slowing down when planets are retrograde. So for example, because I like to teach you all on my channel, you can do the fact checking yourself. Venus is retrograde. Venus, at the time of filming, Venus and Mars are retrograde. Those are not your ruling planets. But the moon is in your sign while at the time this video goes up. So it could affect your backbone, it could affect your joints, your knees, your skin, and your hair, right? In a good way. This is what I'm talking about, your sea goat, C as in SEA. It can affect, your back hurting or something like that. You carrying all this water, your emotions and stuff in your back. It can affect that. You carrying all these other people's emotional baggage on your back. You can feel like you're carrying the weight of the world on your back because you can't figure out why. Your hair, your skin, that largest organ, you're carrying all of this going on, all these emotions that you need to sweat out. You need to get all of these toxic, of this waste out of your body. You've been carrying this karmic stuff out of your body. Remember, Scorpio, we're not talking about any Scorpios that you know. Scorpio rules 8th house. 8 is a karmic number. I'm trying to tie this in for you all. You're carrying all this karmic waste in your body, trying to come out because you're still holding on to something. That source is saying you're seeing it through a different lens as an adult, very different than when you saw it as a child, right? So to tie it in, Venus rules Taurus and it rules Libra, right? So Taurus, rules second house. That's your personal resources, your money, your habits, your possessions, your values, your financial security, your self-worth, and your income. This is where you want to slow down, right? Anything around those areas, you really want to slow down. Libra rules seventh house, marriage, relationships, partnerships, business contracts, inner desires, and enemies. You want to slow down. You want to make sure you are not an enemy to yourself. For example, like I just gave you, are you still friends with people that you know they are friends with people who can't stand you? Because you can't make somebody not tell somebody your news. Oh my God, guess what? Capricorn, they just got a $10 million, they just closed on a $10 million rental property or whatever, deal or whatever. And, oh, I didn't know you didn't want me to tell them that. They over there secretly putting spells on you. Oh yeah, I didn't want them to know that. Now you sitting there confused. I shouldn't have talked. Now I got to watch what I say in front of so-and-so. But they have a track record of running back, telling people stuff, and now you feel like you got to watch what you say. So it's just like at some point you're going to stop yourself and just say, I'm going to cut both of them off, or whoever they are. I need to cut them off, right? Stop being a secret enemy to yourself, right? But also respect when people have to cut you off because you are still connected to people that are showing that they don't like somebody that you still connected with. It goes both ways, right? Mercury is also retrograde. That is the messenger and the communication planet, but it's also the knowledge and learning planet. This is, again, where you learn the lesson, right? What kind of message does it send out when you are still connected to people who are connected to other people's enemies, right? So that's what Source is trying to say. And what kind of message does it send out when you are not learning the lesson that you are still talking to people who are showing you that they are your enemy, including dating people who are showing you that they are still connected to people who see you as the enemy or your family as the enemy? Like what kind of message does it send? That you're an enemy of self. So that's what Source is trying to tell people is like, are you sending a message that you don't like what you see when you look in the mirror? That you're an enemy of self. So you're learning a lot of lessons. So all right, let's get into it. So yeah, so this new moon in Aries is going to cause an upheaval in a lot of people's lives because Aries is ruled by the Tower card, which is Mars. It's a total recall of a lot of things, and that's why I like to teach on my channel to help people to say, hey, stop being an enemy to yourself. And that's why I talk about when planets go retrograde. It's a wonderful thing when planets go retrograde because you need to know which signs rule which houses and what that means for you. Aries rules first house. It's the first sign. It rules first house. First house is all about your personality, your temperament, your appearance, your self-image, first impression, self-awareness, and your outlook on life. And so, your outlook on life, right? Your personality, right? So it's just like you are a leader. You are absolutely a leader. And so this it's going to be a partial solar eclipse. And so during the new moon. And so solar eclipses occur a few times a year when the sun, moon, and earth are all aligned. So you're all in alignment. You're all in alignment with yourself. So you're not going to be out of alignment with yourself. You know exactly who you are. A solar eclipse occurs together with a new moon. It marks a time of a new cycle in an amplified form. It gives you supercharged new moons, so it's going to feel like a super new you, right? It can make you feel lethargic. It can make you feel really tired. A new moon in general will make you feel tired, right? But you're letting your body sync with the rhythms of the moon. So I will put some, I think I have new moon information up already on my, go back to my, by the time you see the new moon, by the time you see, you can just go back and look at all of my shorts for the moon phases, because they're all pretty much, I'll have all the moon phases information up there. Just look at the new moon. Just look at the new moon information. It'll be the same information every single phase. We got 8 major moon phases within the cycle. Just go back and look at new moon. You do the same thing. So don't overcomplicate it. Just because it's a solar eclipse. It's new moon. Yeah. Lunar eclipses usually happen during full moon. Solar eclipse happen during a new moon. So let's get into it. Let's go. Set the tone for your reading. That's right. New and exciting love awaits for somebody. That's right. And you are your new and exciting love. Remember that, right? If you're already married to somebody, you're not going out here looking for somebody brand new. If you're in a happy, healthy relationship with somebody out here, you're not looking for somebody new. If you're single and you're not ready to date, you're not looking for somebody new, right? You are your new and exciting love, right? Don't create a problem if there is none. Source is saying to you, you are your new and exciting love, right? So this is a new you, right? Structure and authority, new you. It's going to cause an upheaval for a lot of people that you are more structured and authoritative. You're creating very firm boundaries because you're ruled by Saturn. It's a whole new you that a lot of people are going to feel some kind of way about this new you, because you are no longer going to be a silent enemy to yourselves. A lot of you are going to feel like, man, I'm losing some friends, but I'm coming closer, closer to myself. I feel more at peace with me and my decisions. And that's going to make room for brand new friends in your lives. You learning how to set new rules for friendships, new friends in your lives at the frequency where you are right now. So 451 advice. Signs are everywhere. Somebody's operating from a frequency of love. So 4 would be the Emperor card. That's structure and authority. That's right, in major arcana, because we're talking about signs, right? So the numbers are also signs, vibration. You're operating at a higher frequency. You're no longer just in that root chakra. Just as I've known you the longest, you're not just operating from that frequency because I've known you the longest, because we blood relatives, because we like family, because we went to school together. We've been knowing each other the longest. Because they've had other influences in their lives too. 5, right? The Hierophant card, right? You have a higher mind. You have an innate spiritual understanding of each other, of yourself, right? Number 1, you're the initiator. You're not going for the confusion anymore, right? So advice, signs are everywhere. This is an alert from your angels. They are around you with strong messages as to how to proceed in a tricky situation. And they will use anything they can to reach you. Your angels can be crafty, so prepare to be surprised. Repetition is their favorite way to hit a message home. Draw another card while asking for more specific advice. So 451. So remember, 4 and 5 is 9, plus 1 is 10. 10 is the number for instant manifestation. Your words will create your reality. So 10 is the number for instant manifestation. So whatever you speak, you're instantly manifesting that. So if you speak negativity, you just put that negative energy out into the universe. If you're speaking positivity, you just put that positive energy out into the universe. So if you're saying new and exciting love awaits, what does that mean for you? Because if you put but, you know what but is, right? Right? Y'all paid attention in school. 701, angelic company. You are being protected. There we go. And again, this is at a higher frequency. This is throat chakra, right? So 7 is chariot. Your efforts are being rewarded. So you're already victorious. 0 is the Fool card in upright. That's taking risk. You're starting a new endeavor. You're in a cycle. You're in a new cycle. And 1 is that you're the initiator, creating, very creative, very logical in your thinking. So you're still very much at a higher frequency. So this is right here. You're operating in a spirit of love, forgiveness, and now you just took it to the next level. So this is all good. Don't vibrate on a low frequency of confusion. You are being protected. Your angels see the struggle you are undergoing presently. They want you to feel their loving presence supporting you. Call upon them to show themselves to you in signs and messages today, and in the love and compassion of those around you. Ask them to show you their love now, and believe it when you see it. Believe it when you see it. Because some things are happening. I keep trying to tell y'all this. People will respect your boundaries. I'm telling you, because a lot of people want you in their lives, Capricorn. But again, source is saying to you, it's time for you to enforce boundaries. Enforce those boundaries. I saw that death card on the end of this deck here. Enforce those boundaries. And learn to be okay if people are not ready for you to enforce your boundaries. Learn to be okay with it. If they say, I'm not ready for your boundaries to be enforced, be okay with it. Just be okay with it. Because then you're starting your rebirth. That new contractual agreement. They don't have to agree. If they agree, great. If they don't agree, that's okay too. It's going to be okay either way. You're not trying to force your will. We're not each other's gods. You're not trying to enforce your will on anybody. You're really not. Be okay with it. Let's get into it. All right. All right. 2 of Pentacles. 2 energies have caused a significant loss financially with you. They have caused a significant loss in money for you. And they are 2 karmics. And so, yeah. But I see you back on center stage again. 2 energies have caused you a significant loss. By being negative in your ear about someone you love. And so source is saying to you, your ancestors have been equally in your ear. But again, because you are an earth sign, source is saying you may have been looking for, you may be still stuck in the root chakra of, I don't believe something until I physically see it. Right? And so this is where you want to raise your frequency and come out of that karmic cycle within yourselves. I don't believe it until I physically see something, right? And I do see you coming up to the, right here, solar plexus, increasing your confidence level. I see you increasing your confidence level. And again, this is speaking things into existence. This is your throat chakra. This is your heart chakra. Where now, again, 4, 5, 1 is 10. And this is where you're saying, I need to come out of this karmic cycle within myself that I don't believe it until I see it. And again, this speaks to your second house. Remember this number 2 right here, speaking to your second house. Knowing your self-worth when it comes to personal resources, money, your money habits, your possessions, your value, your financial security, self-worth, and your income. 2 karmics cause you to lose a significant amount of money. And so Source is saying to you, while you may have been blindsided or felt blindsided by what you heard in your ear, two energies being on the side of you, being in your ear about something, Source is saying to you, your third eye is now wide open. About what energy, see this rounded back and this bulging belly here, of what two energies may have been holding into for a long time that they couldn't wait to get out into you in your ear about something they wanted to been telling you for a while, a long time. And so Source is saying to you, it almost made you want to run away from something, right? Because you're asking, what was the motive? What was the reason? What is the motive? You want to gain some clarity about something. You just wanted to gain clarity about something. What was the reason for all of that? But it caused you to just, it caused so much loss in your money and your value and self-worth. It made you feel so low about something, hearing about something. What was the reason? What was the reason two energies felt like they were competing for something? I don't know who this is for. That it would hurt you, it would cause you to feel so low about something, just so that they can increase something for them, right? So Source is saying you are pulling out the sword at this point. You are pulling out the sword. So you are taking some kind of an action to pull out the sword. Because you are not a fool. You're leaving behind a bunch of distractions. You're leaving behind a bunch of distractions. Yeah, here we have the King of Swords. Here we have the King of Wands here. You have a loved one, and we've been seeing this motorcycle a lot. Somebody has a loved one who transitioned, who rode a motorcycle, who had to deal with the same family stuff. They had to hear the same thing about a loved one all in their ear too. And this is what you have in common. You and somebody had to hear the same thing that a loved one heard about. It's like you and somebody heard the same thing about a loved one from family, and it caused them to feel real low. I don't know what this is, but of people, family talking about them behind their back, and all they wanted to do was run the heck out, just run the heck out. See how this person is running away from something? All they want to do is get away and get some fresh air. So I don't know what y'all heard, but maybe somebody heard that they was into some kind of demonic something or whatever. But anyway, so Source is saying to you that they was chained to some kind of demonic behavior or action or some kind of lie that people heard behind their back or whatever. So anyway, so but something caused you to be depressed or made you feel like your back was against the wall or something. But anyway, but it brought you to a new level of emotional security. And it could have been, maybe you heard loved ones reading tarot cards or into some, people demonize tarot. I mean, y'all are watching tarot here, so maybe that's what you heard. So, who knows? But, like I said before, as you all can see, they selling, like I said, meditative art therapy books in the grocery stores. So a lot of times when people demonize, anything that they are unfamiliar with, one or two things happening on both sides of the spectrum. Either they don't want you to know about the occult, like secret knowledge of things, for their own personal gain of, you just not knowing certain things. Either they don't know or they don't want you to know. It's either or. Either they don't know or they don't want you to know. So, but something made you feel really, really low. Y'all know by now it's all love on this channel. There's no gatekeeping on this channel. If I know and I can help you all to learn or grow, then that's exactly what I try to do. There's no hate, you know, on this channel at all. But I would suggest to help you all to grow, when energies try to spew hatred, when you're trying to grow, is the best way to arm yourself is with knowledge, to educate, you know, yourselves, and not engage yourselves in the back and forth hate conversations with people. You know, if you feel like you need to get some fresh air, you can stop the conversations, especially when you're dealing with loved ones who want to make you feel bad or feel low, especially if they're talking about people that you love or things like that. Keep your vibrations high. Let them know, you know, in the most respectful way, that's not the conversation that you want to engage in. And because something caught somebody off guard. Something caught somebody off guard, you know. And these are familiar spirits. So familiar spirits can be dangerous because they become very invasive very quickly. They'll ask you questions that you, first of all, it catches you off guard because they're asking you a barrage of questions that your spirit tells you is invasive, but you're responding. You don't want to come off as like guarded, so you may answer the question right away, but they're really asking you the question to turn around at a later date to use it against you, to judge you, right? To judge your spirit, all while saying they have your back, right? While judging you, right? So now you feel blindsided. So it's just like I said before, you know, to judge you, to judge your family, to use it against you, you know. So if your loved ones have ever been depressed, they don't have to know the backstory as to what happened, or your, you know, their education level. So they are asking, where did they work? You know, asking all of this question, what do they do for a living? How much money they make? Asking all of these questions, and you're just asking questions based on whatever your knowledge may be. You may not even know the full backstory yourself, and they're just getting limited information to use against you at a later date. And you feel bad because you don't really know the backstory yourself. You just got limited. It's chaotic mess, just a chaotic mess. So you feel ashamed and embarrassed because you answering the best to your knowledge, not knowing that, like I said, just a chaotic mess. So anyway, two energies, two karmics may have felt like they accomplished making you feel low as far as something is concerned, but that's a quick fix. Pull out the sword, cut them off, and balance things out. You have the full backing of ancestors. Full backing of ancestors. You know, that's how you're going to detach. That's how you're going to turn the devil card in reverse, is to leave behind. Because your words are creating your reality. Your words are creating your reality. The devil is the author of confusion. The author of confusion. But metaphysically, you have to know that that source created the enemy. And so the creator, the devil, had to go to source, to ask source to even for permission, to ask source for permission to even wreak havoc in your life to begin with. The whole goal of karmics was to make you look like a fool in reverse to begin with, to see if you would even take a bad risk. And so you had to go through a Job experience anyway. So your words create your reality. And so source is saying, and so you had to be somebody. And so your ancestors kept telling you, run, get away from these energies who's in your ear about something. And see how this person right here, this could be a man or woman, but all of this is genderless. See how this person right here was at a low point in their lives? Something had you at a low point in your life. Something had you at a low point. It could have meant that your money was low at the point. It could have meant that you wanted to be on stage for something. It could have meant anything. It could have meant that you were in a new location. Maybe you felt like you were in the wilderness in a new location. It could have meant anything was going on in your life. Anything. Because you say new, right? You could have been in a new relationship. Something could have been new to you. So anyway, you got a message of money trying to come in. You got a message of money coming in. Remember, when I say message of money, you could have wanted a whole new lease on life, right? So you are money. Remember, so new lease on life meant a new you, right? You feeling like this new person. This is a new lease on life, right? So that's what I mean. New and exciting love awaits. You are this new and exciting person, right? That's how you're balancing things out, right? You have a lot of new ideas, right? So you know who's behind. You know what organization is behind a lot of things now, but you're not worried about what's behind you. You have new coming. You can waste, it's almost like literally like wasting your last match to light a candle that's going to blow out if you're trying to find out what's behind you. And said, I'm gonna use my candle to find out the light the way ahead, or I'm gonna light the way behind me. It's gonna blow out. Dang it! I only have one light behind. Let me focus on what's ahead. I want to see what's ahead. I don't want to focus on what's behind me. I want to focus on what's ahead. So it's saying you want to focus on what's ahead, not behind you. Why are you going back? You want to focus on what's ahead, right? So it's like, yeah, you want to focus on what's ahead, right? Yeah. You're very, very close to something. You've already felt like you were left out in the cold. Somebody already felt bullied. Somebody already felt like they were a pick-me spirit. Somebody already felt like they didn't know their worth and their value. Somebody already felt used. You already felt that before. You already been there before, right? So now it's time to move forward. It's time to stop. You already been there, done that, bought the t-shirt, all of that. You're very close now. You've already been bullied. You've already been there before. So now it's time to move forward, right? You've been enlightened. Yeah. Somebody is now moving towards going into hermit mode. See this light right here? Somebody is now going towards being in hermit mode, so that you can now go somewhere you can analyze. This is what we had a full moon in Virgo. We're not talking about any Virgos that you know. Virgos actually rule 6th house, and that's your health, your work habits, daily routines, fitness, pets, service to others, diet, spiritual practices. Somebody really feels like they need to be in hermit mode to meticulously analyze self. So now somebody is really going into learning the value of really self-love. That's what somebody is really going into, learning self-love. This is where Venus comes in. The planet. This is the beauty of Venus being retrograde, self-love, and Mercury being retrograde, self-love. Right? Mm-hmm. Yeah. Somebody is really, really going to go in and really study their gifts. Somebody's really going to study their gifts. And this is where it's not spooky. This is where it's really, really not spooky. Somebody's going to really take the time to sit down and really journal. Because a lot of you all put comments under the videos and go, I don't remember my dreams. I don't remember. I'm talking about daydreams, night dreams, right? Even if you have a thought, right, you're going to really take the time to wake up, spend a little time lying in bed, and just remembering the thoughts that come to you. Get up and just journal and write them down. You won't think it's strange, weird, spooky, or crazy. You just want to take a minute to just write them down. Just journal. Source is going to put you in a space where you can really vibrate higher and really start to just really just write them down. Just journal. Just journal. Right? You're making a decision. You're learning how to make a decision where you don't feel so rushed all the time. Yeah. You're making a decision to get away from karmics. You're not going backwards. Yeah. You're not, yeah. You're getting away from karmics. This is a death card. So you can have a rebirth. You can have a proper rebirth. Yeah. So this right here, yeah, you're no longer being an enemy to yourself. You're no longer being an enemy to yourself. So somebody's learning the enemy within, right? You're not sending out a message. You're not sending out a message to the world that you're an enemy to yourself. That's the message that you're no longer sending out to the world. You're not doing an injustice to yourself that you are an enemy to yourself. It sends out a mixed message to the world that you're an enemy to yourself. Yeah. Vain and vengeful spirits get the message that you're an enemy to yourself. So they feel like they hold the key to knowing you better than you know yourself. Yeah, so that's the good news, that you are not going back around energies who can make these slick out of the mouth comments to you where you're sitting there confused, emotionally confused. So see how it is. You, new and exciting love awaits. That's you, right? That's how somebody's going to grow their money. That's how you're going to grow your money, keeping energies out of your business. Yeah. So yeah, and that's how you're going to move on from, feeling like everything that you say out of your mouth is going to be used against you later. It's going to come back and bite you later. Everything you say is going to be used against you later. Like, you don't feel comfortable when you're around energies. Every little thing you say is going to be used against you later. Like, what? And everybody say, I got your back, I got your back, I got you. If you say this, but everything you say is going to be used against you later. Like, okay. So, yeah, you don't want to go back to that. It's very painful to go back to that. You're trying to raise your frequency. So, good thing. Good deal for you. I don't know who I'm talking to, so I don't know what your situation is. This is a general reading, so take only what resonates with you. But we're going to go ahead and close this out. But, yeah, so, like I said, signs are everywhere. You are being protected. Like I said, you are being protected. You have new and exciting love. It awaits. It awaits you. We have strength, so we have inner strength. And just in your meekness, inner strength, confidence, good health, bravery, focus, compassion. Your inner strength here. So, like I said, there's a tower. Some energies are going to feel some kind of way because it's an unwanted change for some people that you are learning how to be more assertive. But something has just been exhausting for you. It has been flat out exhausting for you of just being around energies that, like I said, have caused you and somebody such a dip in your money. It has caused so much loss in your money. So here we have Three of Wands. So I'm seeing teamwork here. There's so much expansion. Looking at your cards here, so much expansion. Here we have Ace of Swords. You have a lot of brand new ideas moving forward. Yeah, and you're waiting for some other results though. You're planning, moving forward here. You're definitely not. I feel like somebody has fallen for the bait, in the past. Maybe like the feeling like you were in a. You may have been baited into some things in the past, but you're not falling for the bait anymore. You're not falling for the bait anymore. Yeah, maybe you and somebody may have fallen for the bait anymore, but you're doing you're not falling, you're not going backwards. Yeah, definitely not going backwards. Here we have the Eight of Wands. You're staying away from certain energies. Here we also have the Justice card here. So again, something is a win-win. Something is definitely a win-win for you and someone. And we have the King of Swords. You know, like I said, you have full knowledge, full working knowledge now of who's behind what. Yeah, you definitely have full working knowledge of who's behind what. You have willpower. You know, you're in control. You have, like I said before, when you have a feeling about things, somebody now knows how to pause and pray for things. You know, you definitely know how to pray for things. You know how to pour into yourselves. And this is somebody's spiritual gifts. This is somebody's spiritual gifts. All right, let's close it out. The spiritual gifts. I got a lot of cards here. All right. All right, heart path. So it's not worth pursuing a path without passion. This road will only lead you to uncertainty and frustration. Follow your heart and you can't go wrong. Pursue happiness. So never apologize for what brings you joy. Only understand where you truly belong and where you can find your safe space. Follow your bliss. Forge a new path. When you make new choices, you create new results. Let go of old patterns and embrace the power of possibility. You are fully supported. Remember who you are. You carry stardust in your bones and your ancestors' wisdom in your blood and the whole universe in your soul. Know yourself and nothing will bring you down. Embodiment. Now is the time to make your mark in the world. You decide what feels right to you. Embody your leadership power and create your world out of your deepest desires and whatever you wish. So yeah, you're letting go of negative people and toxic beliefs. Your time on earth is precious. Invest it wisely and be mindful of who you spend time with. And so you will get there. You can't force flowers to grow or plants to sprout. Be patient and respect that everything happens in its own time. And so, spirit of life, remember you are never alone. The spirit of life is with you. The world takes care of you. Allow yourself to rest in this realization and feel the lightness in you. Very nice. Let's see what else we got. Let's see what else we got going on. Let's see what else we got going on. Yeah, let's see what else we got going on. Let's see what else we got going on here. Fast changes. Things happen suddenly and in a short period. In a hurry, take bold steps forward. Shedding. Reducing losses, elimination, and completing a new metamorphosis. Time to set higher goals. And mind power. Lead with your mind. Use an intelligence. Analyze data, logic, and think rationally. Success. You're on the right track. I love it. You are a light worker. Exhausted. Recharge and regroup. Wealth. Keep up the great work. Looking, seeking, you will find. Yeah, so a lot of you all have been on the right track. But like I said before, it's the reason why somebody kept having a tower moment is because Source just wanted you to just keep going through like a total recall. Somebody just kept getting a total recall of what your purpose here on planet Earth is. You all are leaders. Source wanted to remind you that you are very wise, that you all are leaders, and that you all were returning. You kept returning, like that circle, like the world card. It's like somebody had to go all the way around the world. Like, not necessarily that you traveled the world, but y'all know y'all had to continue keep going around and around and around. You know, just kind of like repeating cycles over and over and over again to realize you hold the key. Like, stop being your own worst enemy. And letting people, you know, bring you down to like your self-worth almost down to the ground before you whip out that sword. Like you balance out your number is earth is number 4, right? So Source is saying use your elements. Air, fire. Air would be your breath, your light, your air, right? And then fire would be the sun, of course, and also fire. Water, you know, first time we experience water is in the womb, right? your water, the living water inside of you. What's the other one? Earth. Your physical body is earth, right? And then obviously spirit, right? So source was saying use all of your elements, know your worth, know your value, so that other people don't determine it for you. And so we started out with this number 2, and like I said, Taurus rules the second house. Taurus and Libra, right? Ruling planet Venus are currently retrograde, and that also speaks to, like I said, not only hidden enemies, but don't be your own hidden enemy, but it also speaks to self-worth, self-love, self-worth. Somebody had to return to, don't let other people bring your value all the way down here while they bring their value up. Source is saying, no, that's how you're going to really feel like you have this whole new lease on life. That is how. So now somebody's going back into her. You making a decision to go into hermit mode. You know, you're leaving all that mess behind, going into hermit mode. You're cutting some energies off. You're going into hermit mode, and you're growing your money. I don't know where you're going to go into hermit mode, but you're growing your money. You're never going back to that again. Never going back to that again. Something has really matured somebody. Something has really, really matured somebody. So that's the good news. That is some good news for you. So, yeah. Yep, that is the good news for you. So, all right. I think that's it. All right. That's what I have for you. See you in the next video. But this is going to be labeled, labeled solar eclipse. This is going to be labeled solar eclipse. I'll put together a solar eclipse playlist for everybody. So it'll be in a, just like all of the videos are timeless. But this is a general reading. Take only what resonates with you. If you're interested in a personal reading, you can go to my website, QueenAmunRa.com. We do still have burning bowls for those of you all, because Aries is a fire sign. So if you want to, you know, like I said, toss some things into a burning bowl in preparation for this new moon. The moon, when you watch this video, will be in your sign. And so this is where you can jump ahead of all of this and say, okay, I'm ready for a new me. I'm going to close out this cycle and finish out this cycle strong. Remember, when the moon is in your sign, it'll be in your sign on Saturday, Sunday, and a part of Monday, and then it'll move into Aquarius. It affects your backbone, your joints, your knees, your skin, and your hair. So it's like at some point you're gonna have to stop carrying around other people's emotions and how they feel about other people. That's you carrying other people's karmic emotions, trying to walk up that hill as the sea goat, trying to get to the top of your own mountain. You carrying other people's stuff while they leaving you out in the cold. So at some point you're gonna have to stop carrying people's emotions on your back. That's a karmic relationship. So Source is saying it's time for you to move on. You feel like a fish out of water. So Source is saying it's time for you. Like I said before, you hold the key. You hold the key to your life. So that's what I'm saying for you all. See you all on the next video. Bye.